All right, so in example 7, so this is the second to last slide of part 2 notes. It gives us one of the zeros, and we have to find the remaining one. How many zeros do we know we're going to have here? 4, because this is x to the 4th power. So if one of our zeros is 1 plus 3i, what's another one that we know? 1 minus 3i. So we're going to start by multiplying our two zeros together. So we have 1 plus 3i. Oops. We got to make it x minus, because we want to put it into that factored form. So x minus 1 plus 3i. And then x minus 1 minus 3i. So now I want to multiply this out. What's the first thing I should do? Distribute that minus into there and there. So this becomes...
Just like swap, so it ends up being the same thing you started with?
Yeah. It's x minus 1 minus 3i.
Which is what the right one is, so it just kind of swaps positions.
Yeah.
So is that like a necessary step, do you think, or is that something that you can skip over if you're...
So then x minus 1 plus 3i. So our first term is this x minus 1. And then these are conjugates, so we can do our conjugate shortcut where we just square the first one. So x minus 1 squared, and then subtract and square the second one. So 3i times 3i would be what? 9i squared. And the I squared turns into negative 1, so this becomes a plus 9.
Does that actually shorten?
So now we have to FOIL this x minus 1. So we get x squared minus 2x plus 1 plus 9. So this would be x squared minus 2x plus 10. So that's what we get from our first two zeros. We still have to find the remaining two. Any idea what we can do to find the remaining two? We have to do long division, because we wouldn't be able to do synthetic division because this has 3 terms. So we have to do long division.
What would you be dividing by?
We're going to divide this into this.
Why aren't you multiplying it?
But we're going to do long division. So on the outside we have x squared minus 2x plus 10. On the inside, x to the 4th power minus 3x cubed plus 6x squared plus 2x minus 60. So now we divide. So x squared, x to the 4th power divided by x squared would be x squared. So make sure you keep your terms in line. So notice how I write that x squared over the 6x squared, because all of our x squareds have to be in that same column. Yeah. Once we get our number on top, we multiply that with everything outside. So this would be x squared times x squared, which is x to the 4th power. X squared times negative 2x, which is negative 2x to the 3rd power. And x squared times 10, which is plus 10x squared. I have to change the signs here, so this becomes negative, plus, minus. Add them together. So these cancel. Here I have negative x cubed minus 4x squared. What do I do next? I can drop down the 2x. What else should I do? What's next?
How many x squared going into
When I divide negative x cubed by x squared, what do I get? Negative x. So negative x times x squared would be negative x cubed. Negative x times negative 2 would be plus 2x squared. And negative x times 10 would be negative 10x. What's next? Change the sign. So plus, minus, plus. Add them together. First ones cancel. This becomes negative 6x squared and plus 12x. What's next? I can drop down the 60. And then what do I do? So negative 6x squared divided by x squared would be what? Negative 6. So negative 6 goes on top. And I multiply what's on top with what's out front. So I have negative 6 times x squared, which is negative 6x squared. Negative 6 times negative 2x is positive 12x. And negative 6 times 10 would be negative 16. What's next? Change the signs. And then what happens? They all cancel. So then I have 0 as my remainder. 0 is always going to be your remainder when you divide here because we know that this is a factor. We just proved over there that our two zeros gave us this. So this is a factor. You'll always get a remainder of 0. If you don't get a remainder of 0, you did something wrong with your division. So now we know that this up top here, x squared minus x minus 6 is also a factor. So we can break this down more. X squared minus x minus 6. Do we have two factors of negative 6 to add to negative 1? Negative 3 and positive 2. So this would be x minus 3 times x plus 2. X is equal to 3 and x is equal to negative 2. So these are our 4 zeros here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, let's look at number 2. So we have to find the remaining zeros given that negative 2 minus 5i is one of our zeros. So what's another zero going to be? Negative 2 plus 5i. So that would mean in our linear factorization we have x minus negative 2 minus 5i as one of our zeros. It's one of our factors. And x minus negative 2 plus 5i as a factor. So if I distribute the negative, this would be x plus 2 plus 5i and x plus 2 minus 5i. Yes?
Isn't this kind of what we were doing with 2.5?
So here one of our factors is x plus 2. Since these are conjugates, we can do our conjugate shortcut. So that's x plus 2 squared minus 5i squared. I can FOIL out x plus 2 squared as x squared plus 4x plus 4. And then this would be minus 25i squared. And what does the I squared turn into? Negative 1, so that would become plus 25i. So this is x squared plus 4x plus 4 plus 25, which 4 plus 25 would be 29. So this is one of our factors here. Now to find our remaining factor, we divide. So on the outside, I have x squared plus 4x plus 29. That goes into x cubed plus 11x squared plus 57x plus 203. What should I do first? So what times x squared gives us x cubed? X. So it's just one x, there's no exponent there, so it's going to go over the x column. So just make sure you keep your terms in line. So then I have x times x squared, which would be x cubed. X times 4x is 4x squared, and x times 29 would be 29x. What do I do next? Change the signs and combine. So those cancel. 11x squared minus 4x squared would be 7x squared. 57x minus 29 is 28x. Drop down the 203. What do I do next? Right, so 7 times x squared would give us 7x squared, so we put a plus 7 on top. So 7 times x squared is 7x squared. 7 times 4x is 28x. And 7 times 29, I'm going to assume that it's 203. So then I change my signs, and what happens? They all cancel. So my remaining factor is x plus 7. So then what would my 0 be? What's x equal to? Negative 7. So my zeros are negative 7, negative 2 minus 5i, and negative 2 plus 5i.